The Gray Man, very different movie than what we're watching. This is literally a spectacle movie.
Significantly better.
Though, kind of the intention here. When the CIA's most skilled mercenary, known as Court Gentry, a.k.a. Sierra 6, accidentally uncovers agency secrets, he becomes a primary target and is hunted around the world by psychotic former colleague Lloyd Hansen and international assassins. Chris Evans wearing a fantastic wardrobe, as we talked with the Rooster Brothers about last week. I got to fix that. It's a typo.
Just lose Chris.
The Gray Man. Ryan Gosling, Chris Evans, Ana de Armas, Jessica Henwick. How do you say that one person's name? I always say it wrong.
Which one?
I keep wanting to say Jean Reno, but I know that's
Reggie Jean Page.
Yeah, who Marvel accidentally said was in Secret Invasion. You see that?
Not.
I think he's in it though.
I think he's in it secretly.
I think he's in it, but I think they
weren't supposed to say it. That was weird. They actually the Marvel Studios Twitter had to correct it and said he was incorrectly listed in the cast during Comic-Con, which was odd because he was always rumored to be in the cast. So that was strange.
Well, they cut it scenes, one of the two.
Yeah, which they just dealt with big issues on that with Thor: Love and Thunder. So, The Gray Man, much different movie than what we just discussed. I had a lot of fun with The Gray Man. Is The Gray Man all that great? I don't think so. But I think for what The Gray Man is, The Gray Man. I think it's fun. I love Ryan Gosling, and I think literally everything he does. And I think Chris Evans is Chris Evans. I feel like I sometimes incorrectly say that Chris Evans used to be a bad actor because I don't think he ever was.
No.
He was just taken in a different way. But I do think he has grown into a pretty fucking good actor. Like he is incredibly charming, and I like that he's charming not because he's played a villain. And we kind of said, I always forget that he was a villain in Knives Out because he's
great in that.
Like kind of wasn't for much of it. Like it's kind of a trick, really. But he becomes kind of evil and villainy, and everyone in that movie is kind of a piece of shit anyway.
Right.
But he really is charming on both sides of that aisle, whether he's a hero or a villain. And I just don't think that's very easy to do. I think this is a very fun movie. I don't think it's great. I think it's above. I think it's average to above average. I enjoyed it, but I kind of wish it was better than it was. Like I really can't even pretend that it's close to like a great movie. I have it right now. I can't believe it's below The Bad Guys, but I do have it that way. I do have it at a 75. I do enjoy The Gray Man. I don't think it's all that great though, but I think it's definitely above average. I think it's a really well-made action movie. But I wish it was better. When this was announced, I thought this could be like high 80s type movie. And it is not there. I have it at a 75. It just beats out Better Nate Than Ever. My favorite Disney Plus movie of the year. Ken Jack, Gray Man.
I think with this movie, I saw a bunch of people, because we got to see it obviously a little bit earlier because of the Russo Brothers interview. When I saw it, I'm like, oh, people are going to like this. It's pretty entertaining and everything like that. And then the reviews are all like these people shitting on it, being like, it's fucking $200 million of nothing. It's terrible. It's bad. It's so boring. It's like, I thought it was completely entertaining. I think it's like a series of extremely hot people in escalating boss fights in different locations across the globe. And I think that the execution of the way they did it was kind of cool. And I think that the dialogue was, he had a hit or miss, but funny at points. I think they do that classic Russo Marvel thing of like blending the action and the comedy in a little bit. I thought Gosling was funny and really kinetic. It's kind of like if his character from The Nice Guys was competent at his job. And I thought that was a good character. Very Ransom-esque character for Chris Evans. I thought he was very sadistic, and I think he pulled that off well. I wish I got more Ana de Armas out of it, because her character was definitely one of the more interesting ones. Sorry to disappoint you, Jamie Lee Curtis. And Billy Bob Thornton, I thought was the worst. Billy Bob Thornton shouldn't have been in this movie because he was just kind of not on the same level as the rest of those guys. It could have been like any other CIA.
No.
Billy Bob Thornton.
I liked Billy Bob. I liked Billy Bob.
It's so funny when you look at pictures of the cast where it's like all these like sexy hot people dressed up to the nines, and then it's like Billy Bob Thornton wearing like a fucking Ed Hardy t-shirt and like a fucking skull cap. Like he just doesn't fit, I think, the vibe of the movie totally well. But on the technical end, really, really like the way that they paced out the escalating boss fights, because you get you get a little bit of everything, right? You get knives, you get guns, fist kicks, like throws, all that shit. I think the stunt choreography looks really, really cool, especially when they're fighting people like you've never seen before, like Dinesh, that guy they fought. Like that was an awesome fight scene, I thought.
He was great.
Great. I had never heard of him before, and then I was like looking him up for hours after that. I'm like, how did this guy out of nowhere?
He's a big Bollywood star, right?
Yeah, big Bollywood star and singer, I think, primarily, which is crazy. There is definitely issues with it. There's some stuff that could get tidied up with, again, dialogue, some of the other cast. It's dumb, it's loud, doesn't do anything I would say insanely original, but I think it's very undeniably entertaining in my opinion. And I think it's really led by three people who are three of the most, I would say, charismatic and attractive actors in Hollywood. And I think you just get to watch them go around kicking ass all across the globe. And to me, I think that's a win. So I ended up, and I still, again, there's a lot of issues with it, but I ended up on a 78 for it. And like when you see the Rotten Tomatoes score for it being like in the 40s or whatever, I'm just like,
audience score is very high. Smile, which makes me think. It is worth noting the audience does not view this movie that low. Look, here's the thing with this movie. I just want to say this.
But critics giving it a 40, I think, is insanity, if you ask me.
This falls in the same camp as the Godzillas of the world, as the Uncharteds of the world. And I don't know if there was an intention to make this, and I may misread that, but I think the movie did what it was intended to do. That's
my point, yeah.
I think the intention is to where it landed where it was. I said this about Godzilla, King of Monsters, and Godzilla vs. Kong. Like, there's just some movies that, like, I compared it to, like, there's just some baseball players, they're never going to be better than 7th hitter in a lineup, 8th hitter in a lineup. They're just always going to bat below 3. You know, they'll stay in the majors, they'll do their thing no matter how hard they fucking try in 1 year. No matter how many steroids they take, they're just not going to make the All-Star game. And I just think this movie falls in that space, which is not to say it's not disappointing in that sense, because you wish a movie with Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans, I don't know, it's going to be better. But I think the intention here is that. That's the same way I felt about Uncharted. I don't think I was on for the episode we reviewed Uncharted, right?
No, you weren't. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the same thing. It's like you got Mark Wahlberg, and Mark Wahlberg's been in some of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life, so I just want to note that. But, like, he also been in some really good shit. You got Tom Holland. Yep. Like, there's just some movies that I think that's as good as you're going to get. Like, I really do. And this one, though, comes with a little bit of an asterisk of, like, it should have been a lot better than this. We're like, I can't say that about Uncharted or the last two Godzilla movies.
Yeah.
So that's where I stand on Gray Man. It's kind of weird in that sense.
To the movie's credit, I don't think it ever presented itself as being like an insanely dramatic turn or something where it's going to be anything other than exactly what it was. And that's where something like you compare that advertising for the Gray Man versus the advertising for No. I feel like the Gray Man was much more clear what exactly the movie was. It's like you're getting essentially like Avengers light action comedy with these insanely attractive and huge high profile actors.
Chris, I'll only be upset if you liked it less than 6 Underground.
I couldn't bring myself. I watched 10 minutes of 6 Underground and got a headache, and I turned it off.
I hate 6 Underground.
That could have been an alternative title to this movie.
Really makes me mad.
Yeah. Look, I like the Russos a lot, and outside of just them as people, they seem like really good guys. I like the interview you guys did with them. And look, they kind of have a lifetime pass, right? I mean, what they did, the MCU wasn't dying or anything, but what they did with those 4 movies that they made, I mean, they're 4 of the top 5, top 6 MCU movies. I mean, they directed Endgame, right? And I'm one of the weird people who actually kind of likes Cherry. I think it's a total mess, but
interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that next week.
But it's a complete mess, but it's fascinating to me.
Interesting. Okay.
Right. So I like these guys a lot. I like these guys a lot. I don't like anything about this movie at all. I think it's really, really horrible. And let me take that back. I don't think it's horrible. Like, this is not gonna be my worst movie of the year. But at its best, it's completely bland, completely generic. And you guys are talking about the actors, but what really buries this to me is because you brought up Uncharted. What made Uncharted work is the fact that Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg, as miscast as Mark Wahlberg may have been, they had some pretty good chemistry together. That movie had actual like adventure elements, and Tom Holland was great. I think everyone in this is bad. Like, I think this is one of the worst acted big budget movies I've seen in a minute. Like, I like Gosling. I think he's fine. But Chris Evans is like hamming it up to a point where he's completely not believable. Ana de Armas is bored as fuck in this. She doesn't want to be there for a second. She has no expression on her face the entire movie. The action as a whole, that's you use this as a compliment. That's all it is boss fights. And for the guys who directed Winter Soldier, but I wasn't that impressed by the action. Is the problem is for guys who directed Winter Soldier, the action in this movie it becomes so maudlin where it's just like, all right, another action sequence. All right, here we go, a little bit of exposition, another action sequence, a little bit of exposition, another action sequence. And one thing I noticed, could be wrong, I think a majority of the hand-to-hand combat stuff was sped up. I don't think it was actually that authentic. I think they did the actual choreography, but it kind of took. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again, but I had a buddy who pointed it out to me before he saw the movie. Then when I saw the movie, I go, "This is sped up." So I wish I could say that the redeeming element was how good the action is. And for the record, I don't think this isn't the worst thing in the world. It's not like it's not the worst movie of the year, but I just found it so generic and so completely forgettable. And it seemed like everyone in the cast was just kind of doing the Russos a favor by being in it. And this guy who's on, what show is he on? Is it Riverton or Bridgerton?
Bridgerton.
Right. He's just doing a bad Jeffrey Wright impression.
I thought he was bad. I thought he was really bad.
I thought he was miscast too. So yeah, I mean this as a backhanded compliment, but it is a compliment nonetheless, because it is on Netflix and because of how generic it is. I do think there will be people who would put it on and get enjoyment out of it, and I think I would have too, but it's 2 hours. Like, why? This is a movie about one man just trying to kill another man.
Could have been shorter. Cannot disagree with you.
Make it 90 minutes.
The whole sequence of him getting the passport, cut that from the movie.
Yeah.
And him getting trapped underground and just getting away, like that really didn't need to be there.
Yeah. And I know this
didn't move at all.
I know that this is based on a book also, but like this movie rips off John Wick like a million times, especially, the last two when it's, hey, we're putting the hit out on him and he gets betrayed and, he's going to in John Wick. Yeah.
What if
there's a lot of crossover though? Cause like they used to the what do you call it? The Russo brothers and like the Stahelski, David Leitch combo. Like there's a lot of crossover there. Like they help promote each other a lot.
Oh, that's fair. And yeah, it's I'm way angrier than I should be. And nothing about this angered me. I thought it was lame. Now, I'm glad you guys liked it, but I was just not crazy about it, especially coming off the heels of seeing.
I was fine with it. I don't want to say liked. Above average is like, okay.
Right. I guess coming off the heels of Nope, which, I had my issues with it, but it's so inspired the way that movie's made and directed. And I think there's something infectious about Jordan Peele's movies. Here, I think this was made with a lot of passion. I just thought it was really poorly executed.
That's where I think having the set of expectations helps, where like when you go to like a Jordan Peele movie, you're expecting like a souffle. You go to a Russo brothers action comedy, you're expecting a cheeseburger. And like, if you go in expecting that, I feel like it does make the enjoying process a little bit. And I agree with you, like definitely not super unique, not like something, doesn't really do anything for the spy thriller genre that like revolutionizes it. Doesn't do anything like the same with like action fight choreography like John Wick did. So like I agree with that end of it, but I also think that like for a plug and play action thriller with comedy, I think you could definitely do significantly worse. And I did find a lot of enjoyment or entertainment throughout this movie, but I don't have any qualms with your takes.
And that's totally fine. I mean, the way you guys present it makes complete sense. I was just more critical of it.
What score would you toss on it, Gooch? Where would you put it?
What would I give it? I'm actually at 75 too. I think I'm the only one here who saw it on a big screen. Did you see it on the theater?
Yeah, you saw it in Cineplex, right?
I went to the Cinepolis. I don't know how to say it. It's a nice fancy theater in New York City, and they were showing it. It's a movie that I wish Netflix had kind of. I know they don't like to do it. They didn't do it with Roma. They don't like to put their movies on big screens. This is a movie that really belonged on a big screen, and would have been an easy sell with the cast and the directors. It was fun. It definitely ran too long at points. I agree with that, Chris, 100%. And it didn't do anything like revolutionary stunt-wise to make me go like, holy shit, never seen that before. But I had fun. I think Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans were good. That's where I disagree. I liked Chris Evans hamming it up. I thought it was funny, at least engaging, and I thought they had good chemistry. I don't think Ana de Armas and Ryan Gosling had good chemistry in this at all.
I agree with that.
I'll be interested to see. I think this will get a sequel. I think Netflix wants to build something around this for sure. They just came out and said they're still looking for like their franchise, and they already sunk a lot of money into this.
Though. That's the thing.
Did it do well?
The list they submitted with that is so bad, though. It's like, yeah, we got the One Piece thing. We got the Avatar that's not connected to Konietzko or DiMartino. We got all these other things. Like, they're all terrible.
Really bad. Really, really bad.
Well, like, would you argue, though, and maybe this is going theatrical, aren't they getting Knives Out? Aren't they doing...
They are getting Knives Out.
I know that's technically not like a Netflix franchise.
They shouldn't be allowed to claim that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Well, they might. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe they definitely can. I don't know.
But yeah, no. So I'll be interested to see if they end up rolling back with the sequel. I had a fun time. It was a good decision. It was well worth the overpriced $20 Sunday ticket I bought. Yeah, it was good. I think also the Julia Butters character. I like Julia Butters a lot. That character was put in there just to kind of ground him or like make him more human. I don't think we really needed that at all. Like it would have been better if he was just on the run and excommunicado, like they do in John Wick. It'd been funny to hear Billy Bob Thornton say excommunicado.
It does feel at points, and I had this issue with Cherry too, where it's just not sure what kind of movie it wants to be. Because those moments with Julia Butters, it's a cop and a half, right? And then all of a sudden you have moments where it's trying to be John Wick. I mean, the same issue persisted way more so with Cherry, where it's like for a second it's Jarhead, then it's Full Metal Jacket, then it's Goodfellas, then it's Requiem for a Dream. I think that it's tonally kind of all over the place as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you go in expecting what maybe it should have been pitched as, I think you'll have a fun time with it. I mean, audiences seem to be enjoying it. I enjoyed it, but as I'm watching it, there were plenty of things I'm like, oh, this is fucking okay. But again, it falls into that bucket of, again, the Godzillas of the world, the fucking Uncharteds of the world. I'm trying to think of just recent things, and I'm saying the same movies. But in that like 70 to 75 range, where like I think it's achieving what it wants to do. But again, this one's a little different than those two, where it's like, probably should have been.
I'll be honest. I think I might have had more fun with Uncharted at points. Like there were peaks in Uncharted where I was like, "Oh, this is a lot of fun."
Uncharted, I think this movie has some issues, but there are parts of Uncharted where I'm like, this feels almost bad movie-y.
Yeah, but it's like fun. Like when they're on the ship at the very end.
That's
like,
crazy.
It's fun. Like they're again, that's where it's tough. It's like like let's look at the last four movies. Just four movies off the top of my head. This movie, I think it's a fun, dumb action movie with some good fight choreography and some fun shit in it, and then I was incredibly entertained throughout. And I think that's the point. Okay. Nope. Way different. That is a horror sci-fi movie that I don't think Jordan Peele made it for an Oscar, but I think it's a movie that's going to have Oscar consideration. Minions. Minions is a kids movie. And the last one I saw this weekend, I did see it. 20-somethings to 30-somethings everywhere rejoice as I saw Where the Crawdads Sing, which is it's not awful. It ain't good.
My mother walked out of that movie.
Wow.
Not because
she wasn't enjoying it, but I've never done this. She got a better offer to do something else, so she just left. She had a pickleball engagement she had to go to, but I'm curious though. I'm curious though. Because she's religious. She is to pickleball what I am to baseball, except she actually plays pickleball. But she asked me a question about that though, and I've wondered, there's no way you could go back to a movie and say, I walked out with 30 minutes left. Can I just go in and see it again? You have to buy another ticket. Right?
No, you definitely do.
Yeah. Unless it was like a podunk mom and pop theater where everyone knew everyone. Like it was the fucking bar.
I wanted to go see Nope at Patrick Wilson. I wanted to go see Nope at Patrick Wilson's theater in Bradley Beach, New Jersey, which is right by where I am right now. But it's not. And it was fucking playing Where the Crawdads Sing, but I ended up seeing it at AMC. Apparently it's very faithful. My friends who've read the book, if you know somebody between the age of 20 and 40, they've likely read the book in the last 6 months. And they're female. So just say,
it has
my point on all that is like, it is one of the funnier things of like when we end up rating every movie ever that we see. I don't know, like I feel like you have to bracket and bucket them into certain things.
I tweeted the other day how Daisy Edgar Jones is in like a weird zone right now where she's in literally everything, like super oversaturated market of Daisy Edgar Jones, but she's so good that no one cares. Like even if she's in a movie that's not particularly great, she's usually good in it.
Where the Crawdads Sing right now, it has a 34% on Rotten Tomatoes, but what do you think the audience score is?
I know what it is, so I won't say it.
85.
High, 71.
It's way higher than that.
80s?
In the 90s? It's 100, perfect 100 audience score?
It's 96. Has a 96 audience score.
Apparently it's insanely faithful to the book. I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But I've been told it's very faithful, and
they've been waiting. That book was popular 10 years ago.
Well, isn't it because didn't it pop because it was in Reese Witherspoon's book club or something?
Yes. Girls in the South love that book.
Yeah, it's
Crawdads in it.
Where are the Crawdads?
I'm the Crawdad man.
I feel like I'm saying that wrong because saying book club, or was it Oprah?
Oh man, Mincy would love this book. He's got to read it. He's basically a singing crawdad. If you've seen any of those,
let's get a Mincy review out in front of a theater.
From the South loves crawfish. I do too, though.
Daisy Edgar Jones got
the first time old Gooch here ever visited New York for Barstool work, we ended up eating crawfish. Fun fact.
That place closed.
It did. That place is very
good.
sad.
I went to take my friend there, and then we got there, and I was like, I promise there used to be a place here. And it
was very good. Anyway, point being, it's one of those weird. It's just I don't know. Some of those movies are weird like that, where you watch, you're like, how do I watch this movie? That's same thing with Minions. But I'll tell you what, Minions was such an improvement on the last Minions. Minions Rise of Gru is so much better than just regular Minions. It's a nice change.
Yeah.
Less. I mean, it's still really fucking annoying, and I hate them. But that's where we stand on the Gray Man. Chris, I'm actually more surprised, Chris, that you really like Cherry, because we did not like Cherry.
I did not really like Cherry. Cherry was a very mild recommendation. There was a part of me that enjoyed it because of just the bizarreness of it.
Yeah, they do some cool stuff.
Yeah, it is so. It's the only movie in the world that steals from every movie and yet is also hard to compare to any other movie. It's like it contradicts itself in a weird way. But yeah, I feel like if I watched it again, I might not like it. But it was a bizarre experience first time around.
Yeah, so that's it. Those are our two movies. Next week is next week. I feel like we just went through a big run of movies that we
DC Super Pets.
I'm excited for that. I think it's going to be really good.
Yuck.
I think it's going to be good.
I think it's going to be good. That's disappointing. That is not what I wanted to review next week. But it looks like that is fan.
Oh wait, what's that Kevin Hart and Rock thing? Is that it?
That's it, right?
No. He's got something else though with him, right? I think I saw a video of it. I forget.
Bullet Train the week after that.
Hard on Hard or something.
Which I'm hearing is quite good.
Get hard too.
Well, we'll probably review Not Okay as well as Zoe Deutsch and Dylan O'Brien. We have her in.
Did you not see that?
Oh, is that this week?
Yeah, that's on.
Oh, I want to see it. Okay, yeah, that'll be fun.
Kenjack and I just got our screeners for that. I think I'm going to go drive and get popcorn and watch.
They filmed a lot of that, like right down the street from me.
Cool.
I'm very excited for it, and I love Zoe Deutsch. I love Dylan O'Brien.
Yeah, I got a roll, boys.
That's it for Chris. That's it for this podcast. We haven't recorded the first part yet, so we're about to go do this backwards and talk about San Diego Comic-Con. That's it for Ken, Jack, Chris, and Gooch. I'm Jeff D. Lowe. We will talk to you next time.